What up? What up? What up? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the
Good.
Opps SportsCast. Thanks for linking up with us here on a Wednesday night, last day in April. How we feeling out there?
We're good, man. Let's get through hump day.
Yeah, yeah. Weather's starting to turn around, and I'm sure in New York, it's been like that here in Virginia. But you know all about that, Josh, because you came down to Virginia this week.
It was nice, I must say.
That's right. That's right. So we got a lot of topics to cover. We got a great show for you guys today. We're going to be hitting on, NFL. Giving our final thoughts because last week we did the NFL draft, and this week we're just going to, give you some thoughts on what we think about how that draft went. A few of the surprises, what's everybody talking about, and so should be a good conversation. Our thoughts on Shador Sanders, and how that whole thing went down. We're also going to be talking about NBA playoffs. I know right now the unfortunately the Golden State Warriors are getting curb stomped, but we'll tell you about our thoughts about early results from the first round, and then we'll jump into our normal weekly roundup. And it happened today in sports, and we got some real interesting things to go over. And so yeah, you guys got anything to add to that?
Nah, man, it's just our boy Dave in the cut. He's chilling on a beach somewhere in Dominican Republic. So shout out to him. Hopefully they're enjoying a good time there. And happy birthday, Liz.
Absolutely. Happy birthday. And Dave, we miss you, brother. We know that you'll watch this eventually, but for right now, go and enjoy yourself. But let's shout it out to our sponsor.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. So this week's sponsor is Elevated Creations ROC LLC. Is Rochester's premier women-owned balloon and event decor specialist. Whether you're planning an office party, intimate birthday celebration, or luxurious wedding, Elevated Creations ROC LLC will transform your vision into unforgettable memories. Stunning balloon arrangements, custom centerpieces, welcome signs, and seating charts. They do it all. Elevated Creations ROC LLC is here to make your event exceptional, creating moments that wow your guests and make your special day truly extraordinary. So, if you want to transform your event from ordinary to extraordinary, visit their website, elevatedcreationsroc.com, for more information. Elevated Creations, we were created to create.
Dope.
All right, as always, we're
Yeah.
very, very grateful to our sponsors. Elevate Creations, thanks for holding it down for us all these weeks as we get the podcast up and running. And so let's just jump right into it, fellas. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to go over. Um, we were live for the first round, and it was funny because when we were talking, we were there like, I think Shador could go and pick three. I think he could go and maybe pick five. Maybe he'll go pick 17 to the Steelers.
Right.
He didn't end up going, not the first day, not the second round, not the third round. He ended up going pick 144, fifth round, to the Cleveland Browns. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't want to jump out on a limb here, but I know that was the most shocking thing to me. Was that the most shocking thing that unfolded in the NFL draft for you guys?
Zeke, go ahead.
Yes. Um, I really wasn't too thrilled with how that played out. I had a feeling that teams would try to make an example out of him. I didn't know it would go that far to the point where he had to wait to like halfway through the third day of the draft. Um, People pointed out to, oh, he's arrogant, he's too brash, blah blah blah. I think back to the likes of Jimmy Clausen. I don't know if you
Mm.
guys remember Jimmy Clausen.
Yeah,
He was a quarterback from Notre Dame, and they said he was too arrogant, too smug. I can't remember the particular word that I saw. I was supposed to write it down, but they really didn't like his attitude. He went in the second round. I mean, yeah, you didn't get to be a first round pick, but they still took him in the second round. You can't tell me Jimmy Clausen was a better quarterback than Shador Sanders. Um, Johnny Manziel, they didn't like his attitude. Um, I want to say he still went in the. It was if it's not the first round, early second round. I remember they had to step in to stop Jerry Jones from drafting him because he really wanted to draft him. I think that might have been the year we drafted like Travis Frederick or Zach Martin or something like that. Yeah, he still went early in the draft. But to make this man sit um, until the fifth round, that that was deeper than just football related issues. Because I mean, you watch him play. Um, the man can play quarterback. He's much better than a lot of the tape that I saw um, on these other quarterbacks that got drafted ahead of him.
Right.
It started to become a joke with some of the names that got picked ahead of him.
Big time.
So, um, yeah, I just hope he bounces back from this and shows his resilience. Um, shows that they had his character all wrong. He's not just some privileged kid who is living off the coattails of his daddy's fame. That he can actually come in and show up and show. I hate that he went to Cleveland. Um, not too much good happens to quarterbacks that get drafted to Cleveland.
Brother, that's where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah.
I know, I know. I
Yeah.
mean, but I mean, I just really hope that he has a chance to shine, and I don't know. I'll be praying for him. That's about all I can do.
Yeah, well,
Most definitely.
he gonna need a lot of prayer. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But when it
especially with
comes,
five QBs in the room right now.
yeah, why don't you talk about that, Josh? What do you think about
Yeah,
that, brother?
I mean, for me, all I can think is like, they must be stocking up on some, hopeful picks in the or some trades in the future because I really don't know. Shador is going to come in, and then they drafted another QB before Shador, and it's like those two guys are literally coming in as rookies, hopefuls behind Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson, and then you throw in the likes of Kenny Pickett, and it's like the three of those guys have all been starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And you have these two rookies at 4 and 5 position. And it's like, you just wonder, like, what was their thought process there? Maybe Joe Flacco comes in and he plays the background and he's there to really train up and teach these younger guys, while Deshaun recovers from the multitude of injuries that he's been plagued with. And I mean, you're not going very far with Kenny Pickett. I hate to say it. He was our backup QB when we won the Super Bowl just a year ago, but he's not your answer. So I really don't know. I'm not really sure. All I can think is maybe they're trying to hold up on some trade stock.
Well, I mean, when you're the Cleveland Browns and you've been so terrible at the quarterback position, I mean, it would be great if we had some Cleveland Brown fans chime in on this, but I
They don't
think their thought
exist.
process, yeah, well, they're becoming slimmer and slimmer. There's definitely no bandwagon Cleveland Brown fans that exist because I don't think they ever had a bandwagon. But like at this point, I mean, does it make sense just to throw a whole bunch of darts and see what sticks? I mean, can you blame them for doing that? I mean, a part of me is they're like, man, that's the sign of a terrible franchise, but they've been terrible because they haven't got the quarterback position right. And
Hmm.
so now I mean, they're just throwing a whole bunch of darts at the board and seeing what sticks. But I mean, if you knew you were going to do that, why would you go out and trade for a Kenny Pickett? You know what I mean, and pick up old man Flacco. You know what I mean, just to go out and draft two quarterbacks. It's just
Right.
you could tell that they don't really have a plan, which is why part of me wants to say like, man, I really loved, and I said this on the broadcast when we were doing it live last time
Hmm.
was that like I love them trading back, accumulating picks. They got a number one pick for next year. They can use that number one pick from Jacksonville next year to go out and draft maybe the best quarterback in that draft. Maybe combine their two picks to move up and draft that number one pick if they really like the quarterback next year. But now
Right.
you got five QBs in that room. I mean, how much rope are you going to give these guys?
Right.
And at that point, what are we doing with those picks next year? I mean, you drafting another quarterback when you already got that many prospect talent that you got to see if it pans out before you waste more draft capital.
Right.
So I love the fact that they traded back with that intentionality, and then it was just they're like, yeah, they're still the Browns.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, but winners and losers in the draft. I know when we were picking what teams we thought could be movers next year.
Hmm.
I don't remember what team you picked, Josh, but I know I said I thought Tennessee could be that team.
I
Is there
picked.
any? Who did you pick?
I picked the Saints.
What do you think of their draft, and do you think they were there after seeing the draft results, they're going to be able to be on that track?
I stand more so behind the fact that the Saints. I'm trying to pull them up here. Um, I really think that the Saints have something in their head coach, Kellen Moore. And I believe that Kellen has the offensive mind to be able to find the strengths in his players, um, to make something happen. So when I'm looking at this, a lot of their picks were on the defensive end, which were the biggest questions I think for the Saints coming into this. I mean, they're hopeful still on Chris Olave, and they've got some. They have a prospect at QB with what's his name, Ritter, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Or no, 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 not Ritter. Radler.
Rattler. They have a prospect in him, and then they have Derek Carr. And so I just feel like they've got the possibility to come out of that top 10 pick class and really make a splash. Um, they got to deal with Atlanta. Um, but I think in the long run, I believe that Kellen Moore just has this knack about him to really get an offense rolling, and that's going to be a good thing. I think it's going to be fun for the Saints.
Yeah, no, I agree with Tyrell. Saints ain't marching nowhere with Rattler is what he posted, and I couldn't agree more, man. For
Mm,
only this reason, this is why I didn't pick the Saints last time. They got the Falcons, and I still think the Falcons are better after that draft. They got the Bucks, and the Bucks. Then they draft Emeka Buka, right? Then they get him from Ohio State. You know them Ohio State's receivers, they don't miss, bro. Those Ohio State receivers don't miss.
mm.
And I know Mike Evans is getting up there in age, and to reload at that position with Godwin and his injury, they're going to be a problem. And then, I mean, I just think that's too many. That's too big of a hill to climb. And so
Okay.
I don't really see them getting anywhere. But I'll tell you one team, and this is going to make you mad, Josh. The New York Giants. I think they did good. I mean, I
Hey
think
man,
they did
I hear
good.
you.
I mean, I know that's your boys, both of your divisions. I mean, you're a Cowboy fan and an Eagles fan, but I mean, the Giants, bro. I mean, defensive end, they got their quarterback, perhaps of the future, in Jackson Dart. I know it's not what everybody thought as far as with Shadur Sanders, but they really like him. And he's backed by the Manning family. That could be something special there.
Hmm,
I think they might be the biggest mover next year.
really?
They might be.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. There was talk about Dable, having some concerns in New York. So I
Yeah,
don't know. It's hard to say, man. The franchise just hasn't been as consistent once they got rid of Eli, or he left the league.
yeah. But they need a steadying force. And I don't know if their coach is that,
Right.
but their coach, I mean, he came in like gangbusters, man. When he first came in, everybody was there like, man, this is the coach of the year.
He was, yeah, and he was. He got it. So
Like you could coach Daniel Jones to a playoffs.
yeah,
And they won that a game in the playoffs too, didn't they? I thought they did.
I think so.
So I mean, he knew what he was doing back then. I don't know if he had a quarterback, if he'll be able to reach those levels. But
Right.
um, it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. So that was my big winner anyway. Zeke, you got a big winner?
Um, I think the Raiders got a nice little pick with Ashton Genty. I think he's going to be a major player, a nice little piece that they can build around.
Yeah.
Um, that's a nice weapon to have. I was kind of salty that the Cowboys let Scatterbull go to the Giants. I kind of
Mm.
wanted him.
Yeah, that was another
Um,
good pickup
I,
by the G-men.
when they drafted him, I remember when they drafted Saquon. That was the same year they drafted Leighton Vander Esch, and I immediately have visions of Vander Esch getting trucked by Saquon. And that's kind of how I felt when Scatterbull got drafted by the Giants, just watching him bounce off of Cowboys defenders as he runs for a touchdown. So that was a nice
He,
pickup for them. But yeah, the Raiders were my pick to kind of make some moves. I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but I think they're headed in the right direction. They got a nice little piece there. And again, you give Pete Carroll and Tom Brady some time to cook, they might be able to come up with something decent.
for
For sure.
sure. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
I'll tell you what, like the fantasy football community out there was loving that Ashton Genty pick because you know the Raiders are going to want to run the football.
Oh yeah, big time.
And it's funny because on the, I mean, you mentioned the Zeke on the complete opposite end of that, the fantasy football community was pulling their hair out by that Cam Scatterbo pick because everyone was there like Tyrone Tracy. That's a high draft running back. You know, he did so great at the end of the year. He was like a sneaky pick that if you had on your squad, you were feeling really good and feeling like, man, I'm smart. I picked up Tyrone Tracy, and now everybody's just envisioning Cam Scatterbo being a goal line vulture,
Mm.
getting those touchdowns right when Tyrone Tracy takes him to the one. Scatterbo comes in, rips your fantasy football points away. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down, and for us who
Well,
enjoy
the
fantasy
thing is,
football.
Scatterbo, he's a big dude, but he can score from the one. He can score from the 21. He can
Mhm.
score from his own 31 if you let him. I mean,
Yeah,
the man is he's explosive.
he's a runner.
He's got made some electric plays. So and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I saw some highlights of him catching the ball. He can run some decent routes. So they got a weapon.
No doubt.
I don't know if they got the quarterback to get the ball to him, but
Yep.
we'll see.
See, as a fantasy football player, that's even worse because if this man's got good hands, then he just may take all playing time. Or if that's a timeshare backfield, you can't draft Tyrone Tracy early next year in the draft, even though like last year that was a sneaky great pick. And now with Scatterbo there, it might not be.
I'm not gonna lie. I think this is the first time I've ever heard that name. I don't even know who he is.
Who's that?
Tyrone Tracy. Who's that?
He's the Giants running back.
Oh,
He did good
cool.
last year. He was,
He had some decent runs. Yeah, there's no
yeah, he had
doubt.
some decent runs for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Like him and Malik Neighbors was like the only good things like on
Awesome.
on
Yeah.
that squad.
Yeah.
I mean, which was crazy because like I mean, their quarterback play was atrocious, especially after crazy as it sounds, especially after they traded away Daniel Jones
Daniel
or
Jones.
just released him. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, they just cut him.
they just cut him, and so it went
He
from
showed up to
bad to
work. His
worse.
badge didn't work no more.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah. So, well, I mean, they got that fixed now. I mean, you got Russell Wilson showing up to Knicks games now, pretending he's a New York fan. And so we'll see how that goes.
Sierra
Well,
just wanted courtside seats.
right.
Yeah,
Sitting
I
next to
see Sierra there.
her boy.
Well, that's a great segue into
Mhm.
the NBA playoffs. Fortunately, my New York Knicks. I was really, really hoping that we'd be able to talk about the Knicks moving on to the next round. That didn't happen as they lost to the Detroit Pistons yesterday. But there's some interesting developments happening. You got the Golden State Warriors up on the Rockets 3 games to 1, although that looks like it's going to be a 3 games to 2 series, much like the Knicks Pistons. You got Miami sweeping, right? They swept.
No,
They brought,
they got swept.
excuse me, Miami. They got swept, and you got the Celtics moving on to the next round. I don't like my Knicks' chances of going much further than the Pistons if they're even able to win that. We'll see. But uh, early returns in the in the NBA playoffs. What do you think of the development? Because I just think, just to me, this is just hilarious. When you look up Steph Curry having 4 championships during the reign of LeBron James, right? LeBron also has 4 championships, except LeBron right now, their game starts in a little bit here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's on the other end of that 3-1 deficit, where he is down 3 games to 1 with an all-time. I think we will all put, Luka top 10 NBA player, with a top 10 NBA player on his team right now. I mean, I asked this question earlier in our chat, and I'll ask this because I don't know if I got your thoughts, Josh, but maybe you can more flesh out your thoughts on this. But if we do in fact see Steph Curry move on to the next round, and we'll put to the side for a little bit if he's able to get a championship, and we'll put that to the side for a second. But if he moves on to the next round, LeBron James has another first round exit. I mean, who we promoting? Who we demoting?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to definitely side with Steph here. I would say I'm promoting Steph, and I actually made fun of Zeke a little bit in one of our earlier episodes, and I was like, "Wait a second, Steph over LeBron?" I am
You
negating.
sure did.
I'm negating that comment, Zeke, and I'm giving you your props, because now I see what you meant in that. Yeah, 100%. I'm putting all my chips in Steph's basket all day, for this reason. He is undoubtedly one of the game changers, and he continues to thrive even when um, all cards are against him. And I just really, I'm all about um, the overlooked, and the guy who just wasn't really counted on. Even though everybody knows Steph's greatness, everybody is all on the coat. They all ride on the coattails of LeBron, and as much as I dislike LeBron, I've always had to admire his game and his ability to um, play as long as he has and be as consistent as he has. But the one thing that I've always held against LeBron is he was like what's the opposite of a bandwagoner? What's a bandwagoner but in player form? Uh, that's kind of what LeBron is. He jumped ship,
Front
and
runner?
yeah, exactly. He jumped ship and was always looking to build a team around him to make himself um, successful, if you will. He had that one championship in Cleveland that you could almost say that was all him. Um, but again, I really think that Steph is set apart right now, and he's really showing that it doesn't matter who's on the court with him. He's going to facilitate the game, and he's going to get W's. And if he gets this ring, I'm putting him ahead of LeBron in the GOAT category.
Wow, that's a 180 right there, ladies and gentlemen. We he has seen the light.
I've seen the light.
Is it possible to delete comments from the chat? I think
My man
Jesus was
Jesus.
sipping on that syrup or something.
You
Look,
know what's funny is
listen. Jesus is not even a LeBron fan anyway, so get out of here. He's
I mean,
just
we not even talking about Jordan. Where you get this goat stuff from, Jesus?
that's
Not
right.
once did we mention his airness.
Yo, my cousin is in the chat though. I mean, he's a Lakers fan, and he was telling me when they first got LeBron, he was like, "Man, I don't think I could ever root for the
There were a lot
Lakers."
of Lakers fans that did not want LeBron. Like, imagine,
They didn't.
Chris. Let me ask you this: if in some bizarro world, say '94, MJ says I'm coming back, but I'm playing for the Knicks, would you be mad at that?
If MJ, you say?
If MJ decided he wanted to play for the Knicks, if
Heck
he hit
no,
the free agent market and he said I'm playing for the Knicks, would you be mad
no.
at that?
Would I be mad at that? Like in his
Yeah.
prime?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, I hated him so hardcore that it would have been tough for me to see that.
You
Check this
hated
out. It would
MJ.
have been tough to see it, but I think you would have welcomed it after because I mean, this is the dude that beat you on your head the whole time. Like Patrick Ewing doesn't have a ship because Michael Jordan stopped him from getting there.
Bingo.
There's a
You're
lot
right.
of
You're right.
players
You're right.
that didn't eat because Mike was eating at the table.
Yeah.
Now,
And to be fair,
As much as I dislike Kobe, when there was rumors that he was going to sign with the Bulls, dude, I was like, bring it on, let's go.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But to
There were
be
plenty of
completely
Lakers
fair,
fans that was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this.
I, if my team signed pretty much anyone, once they have their moment, they become part of family. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, for example, Juan Soto. I'm still waiting for him to have his met moment to really feel like, oh, that's family, and not like, oh, he's the new guy. But like once they have their moment, like like if that happened, Jordan hits a clutch jumper, we win the game. You family now, bro. You one of us. You helped us win. So I get it. But yeah, but I don't fault Lakers fans for feeling that way because I mean my man was like a journeyman.
That's crazy. He's in the GOAT conversation, and you can say he was a journeyman because every time you turn around, he's bouncing from team to team. Steph did everything that he's done in his career wearing one jersey.
From the
People came to
draft.
play with him.
Yes, sir.
LeBron was
Yes.
like, "Ooh, I'm taking my towels to South Beach." He thought he had a bar right there, and all he did
Right.
was set himself up to be a punchline.
Yeah,
And I
yeah, that
was a
dude.
fan of Wade, man. I feel like Wade really elevated LeBron's game.
Oh, for sure. He taught him how to win. That's
Absolutely.
not. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
And I'm not going to front. Even when LeBron did go to Miami, if he would have embraced that villain persona, I think I would have rocked with him a lot longer than I did. But he was so worried about being liked. Like
Yep.
this whole when he took out that when he had that article in ESPN magazine or whatever it was, I don't need a speech about you going back to Cleveland.
Hmm.
Like who cares? You broke their hearts and now you're gonna come back and that was I heard you say that that Cleveland championship was all him. Kyrie Irving got something to say about that, Josh. Yeah, I think if Kyrie wasn't on the court, Golden State Steph has 5 rings. If Kyrie wasn't on the court
Bro,
in
that's
that series,
facts on that jumper alone. He don't hit that jumper if Steph has 5 rings.
Mm.
if he don't hit that jumper, if Ray Allen didn't hit that jumper, and everybody gonna say, well, what about John Paxson and Steve Kerr? Yeah, but most of the time in clutch time,
The
Mike was
ball was in
taking the shot.
Michael's hands. Yep.
He wasn't necessarily looking to pass because he wasn't clutch. He was looking to pass because it was the right play.
Yep.
LeBron didn't pass that ball to Ray Allen. That was a rebound tip out from Chris Bosh.
Yep.
Where was LeBron? LeBron getting bodied by JJ Barea in the post. I don't
Yo,
want to hear it.
there's one other difference than that too, is that like is those shots that were clutch in the Jordan era, correct me if I'm wrong, but none of those were with elimination for Jordan on the line.
Jordan,
That
did
none of those
Jordan
were.
in their run? I don't think they ever saw a
They
game
ne-
7.
I don't think they ever faced elimination. And so
Mm-mm.
like when we're talking about that Kyrie shot, if you don't make that shot, bro, you're eliminated, bro. Like you lost the
Yep.
championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
so I think there's levels to this. There's
Yeah.
definitely levels to this. And so now that you got like, and it's just when you think of the glut of talent that he's had, from Kyrie Irving, right, to Dwayne Wade, to Chris Bosh, to
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love, Anthony Davis, now Luka
Done.
Doncic.
Yep.
Bro, how you only got the same amount of rings as Steph Curry and you the GOAT, bro? Tell me, someone got to explain that to me.
There's no
Like,
explanation.
You said it.
I don't see how that works. I know he's going to leave with all the records, but that's more of a longevity thing.
Yeah, for sure. And you can't deny that. Like, great job on that. Like, you can't. Guys with his build, with his stature, don't normally last. They don't. Not normally. It's abnormal to see players play as long as they have. With
Here's the thing though, like he's we're living in an era where these players make so much money that they can dump millions and millions and millions of dollars into their bodies. Like when Mike was out there on the golf course puffing cigars, playing 36 holes, and then coming to play a playoff game, LeBron's in a hyperbaric chamber somewhere, sleeping and getting oxygen pumped into his blood. Like it's a different era where this is this is what they do. Like it's almost like as passionate as Mike was about basketball, it was almost like a hobby to him. Like this
Mhm.
is LeBron's lifestyle. Mike almost felt like he played basketball on the side
Yeah.
between the gambling and the golf
The baseball.
and the bait. I'm gonna step away to go play baseball because I'm bored.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And to me, the thing I despise, and I think I'm not alone in this, is that I think he kind of ushered in like a era of flopping and
Yeah,
some very
soft.
soft brand of basketball,
Yes, sir.
which is kind of ironic because the dude is like a freight train.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's
and I
sad,
understand, like
pitiful.
he's a freight train, so I understand that he gets hit, and he doesn't get those calls that maybe a smaller guard would,
Right.
because the dude's a freight train. Like
Yeah.
so,
He's
like
not a guard.
Yeah.
but to get those calls, he has to put on these theatrics,
Yep.
and
Sell
I
it.
think and I
Imagine
don't.
Shaq flopping.
It's just, can you? No, I can't imagine that, bro. I cannot.
Okay,
Probably hurt himself.
now all right, let's go smaller than Shaq because
Just
Shaq's a
trying to
monster.
think
What if
about
what if
that hurts
Sean
my
Kemp did
feelings.
something like that, or Carl Malone, or now you get into like the 6'9", 6'10" Rock Diesel dudes,
Mm.
Dwight Howard. Imagine him flopping all over the place.
Yeah,
Charles
I,
Oakley. Nah.
I can't imagine. I can't. I can't imagine. And so it's just there, like, you know, I don't like that. But I know it's going around right now in the talk that um people really like this brand of basketball. Ratings are up right now for the NBA playoffs, because if you're watching the games, y'all, they're playing a more physical brand of basketball. They're actually playing defense. They're actually playing like they care. And I know that usually happens during the playoffs, but I think what's cool right now is the referees are letting them play a little bit more. And so when I've been watching the games, a lot of calls that you would usually, oh, that's a foul, they've been swallowing the whistle.
Well, tell that to Golden State because they're getting out free throwed right now.
Listen, all I know is Jesus coming out with the stats. Player with the most playoff losses ever, Bron, with 107 playoff losses.
But at least he got there.
Yo, I was just gonna say that those Braun people, man, they be there like, yo, but
This, like you said, it's the soft era, the era of
yeah,
participation
My
trophies.
gosh, that's insane to
yeah,
think.
yeah. But bro, I mean, if you're there that much, and I do give them respect for making it to the Eastern Conference Finals and the Eastern, or excuse me, to make it to the finals all those years in a row.
Hmm.
Definitely, that was impressive. Um,
Yeah,
I don't think you could take that for granted, which is why
no,
he's in that conversation. But the fact that you could elevate him above, you know, I think multiple players at this point, especially after getting eliminated, what looks like going to be in the first round, which
yep.
might happen tonight. Make sure you catch the game. Anthony Edwards has been looking amazing, cooking them boys, yelling, arguing in his face, taunting. That's the kind of like,
Heels. That was one of the best
oh,
highlights of this playoff is when he came
bro,
over LeBron's shoulder, grabbed the ball, and took the ball down the other side of the court. That was a great play.
that's the kind of venom and vitriol that you want to see out of like a face of the league. And
Yeah,
like Anthony Edwards he's becoming that dude.
Unfortunately, he's gonna get checked up for that if he keep messing with LeBron.
yeah. Well, they've already had some discussions, but
Bro,
what do
did
you
you
guys?
see that when he pushed him down the court and everything? And he was just in his face, and
Yeah,
I think they were losing at the moment, but he
frustrated,
was still
getting in
getting,
his head, getting his
yeah,
not playing him. What do you guys
It
think
was
about this bracket right now? I mean,
well,
OKC. I had
it's
no.
trending on Twitter that Adam Silver put the call in, so they're expecting the Warriors to lose their lead and the Lakers to come back from their 3-1 deficit.
Wow.
That's the trending topic on Twitter right now. That's what I saw before we signed
imagine
on
you
with
got
you.
You got two teams come back from a 3-1 deficit in the same playoffs. That'd be bananas, bro.
That sure would,
But I mean, after seeing the first round, who you think is the favorites to make it to the finals right now?
bro. Cavs and Thunder, they're balling. Even though they're playing the low seeds right now, those boys are just all around game. It's just beautiful to see. Defense, offense. They're playing in the post. They're shooting threes. It's just full on. It's looking good. I would love to see the top one seeds, hit the finals and just go at it. Young guns ready to prove themselves.
I think the Celtics. It's hard to call the Celtics a dark horse,
Hmm.
but it's almost like I watched them and they're so boring,
Yeah,
The
but they're
Celtics are
so
boring.
good.
Yeah, well,
they're
Like
they blow teams out. Yeah, you're
fundamentally
right.
they're back to the fundamentals.
I mean, it's kind of like watching the Spurs, but
I
with
was gonna say,
like I'm not say want to say bigger names because you had Timmy, you had Manu, you had Tony Parker,
yep,
but it's almost like that kind of vibe with Tatum and Brown, and then you got the unicorn, who's I mean, he's not Scorzingis like they wanted him to be with the Knicks, but he's producing.
yeah,
Bro, that's why I agree with you, man. It's because it's like they in the this kind of era of basketball where it's really hard to put together like a deep super team. Usually you got the super teams, you got 2 to 3 players at the top, kind of like the Nets, right? Where they had KD, they had Kyrie, and they had oh man, I'm drawing a blank right now. James Harden,
hmm,
and then they just had a bunch of bumps, right?
Yeah,
You didn't have that kind of depth. What's impressive about the Boston Celtics is the depth that they have. They got two main guys at the top in Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, where you're there like those dudes are bona fide. But I mean, you could throw almost 3 players into that three slot, and I don't know, and I think you could make a good case for any one of those three. You got the sixth man of the year, Pritchard, who probably is going to have a hard case at that three spot for a lot of people. He's the sixth man of the year, though. The dude, like when you see him play, he's like shooting jumpers from all over the place and making it. And then you got Porzingis, and then you got with the ballhead dude. What's his name? Brown? No, not Brown. Um,
nah.
man, I forget his name right now. Um,
Uh, I know who you're talking about.
you know what I'm talking about.
I'm
So
a cheat and look him up right now. Derek White.
Derek White. Now, the last name was a color, right? And so you got Derek White, you got Porzingis, you got Pritchard, and then you got Al Horford,
You got
who's
old
still
man Horford. I was hoping you
old
didn't
man
forget to mention
Horford,
him.
bro. He's still
he's still
doing his
balling
thing.
too. He's
He's
still
And that
still
that's that
balling.
that's that leadership. That's that leadership where
big time.
he don't have to produce. Like he don't have to be the 18 and 12, but just to have him on the court.
Help facilitate.
Yeah, when you can
That's
go
that.
six, I mean, like when you go six elite deep and
Hmm.
then still have another 2 to 3 dudes that extend your bench the way the Boston Celtics do, bro, that's hard. That's hard to beat, bro.
Yeah,
That's going to be difficult. And I know, like the Cavaliers. That's why as much as I want the Knicks to make it to the conference finals and to the championship, I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup if we get Cavaliers Celtics. Although I know NBA probably won't like that because it's probably not going to be the high ratings. I think that'd be a really interesting matchup because the Cavaliers look unbeatable.
yeah, they're balling
They're balling, as unbeatable as the Thunder look against the Grizzlies. Um, Cavaliers have looked that unbeatable on the Eastern Conference.
for sure.
So it's gonna be real interesting to see where things go. But yeah,
I need
but
I need the claw and the beard to step it up.
oh yeah. Yeah, Nuggets on the verge of eliminating the
I,
Clippers.
I need them to bump. Never mind. I don't want to say nothing bad about the man.
But you know what? Before we jump off of this NBA topic, let me get one more in there real quick because we give a lot of credit to Steph Curry for his championships and doing it all with one team.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the segue here. My man
Mhm.
Giannis just got eliminated from the NBA playoffs with the Bucks, and
Mm-hmm.
he has been one of the most loyal dudes.
Yeah.
He stayed with that one franchise, and ideally, you would probably like to see him try to do what Steph Curry, try to do what the greats of the past did, which is try to elevate your franchise to that highest level again. But he actually did it once with the Bucks. Now that he's got eliminated in probably one of the most pathetic fashions,
Mm-hmm.
where it didn't look very competitive, and you never really got the feeling, even with a healthy Dame Lillard, that they were going to be someone to be contended with on the Eastern Conference. Do you want to see Giannis stay with the Bucks or take his talents elsewhere?
Hmm.
What do you think, Josh or Zeke, whoever wants to chime in first?
It's a tough one.
I mean, so like you said, he's been loyal. He's been a pillar in that community. He's been great with the community. They love him. He brought him a championship. If ownership isn't going to put a decent team around him, then yeah, while you still got some time left in your prime, go maximize on that.
Yeah.
Um, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him stay in Milwaukee and have teams come to him, but it's hard. I mean, Milwaukee ain't necessarily a destination spot.
Right. I was just gonna
Um,
say, not a hot spot. And
Bro,
I don't know
Rob
where he would go.
Rob
Like
Palinka's
where?
on the phone right now trying to trade Asian LeBron James for Giannis, man. Like, I
can you
wouldn't mind
imagine?
it.
Could
Could
you
you
imagine
imagine?
Giannis and Luca
Right.
together?
All he needed to trade was AD and LeBron, and he got Luca and Giannis. That would be bananas, bro. The fix would be in. I already thought the
Absolutely.
fix was in. It was like, how do you get like you see the hate that my man Nico Harris is or Harrison is getting down in Dallas, where
Very
they're just
much well deserved hate. All right. I don't
oh
feel
my
bad
For
for him at
sure.
goodness, bro.
all.
The press conference he did was pathetic. He's just there like, man, I just didn't realize that Dallas, had this kind of affinity for
That was the
for
dumbest
their
thing he could have
superstar.
said.
Hmm.
Bro,
Just trying to cover his tracks. That's all it is.
like my man, like what are you doing? Like he better be on the phone right now trying to trade AD to get Giannis. Because then if you could make that case to the fan base, look, I traded Luca for Giannis. I don't know how that would go,
Maybe. Maybe.
but it'd
Maybe
be a lot more
out of
understandable than
desperation.
what they did.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean, I mean, if Kyrie hadn't gotten hurt, they might have been able to make some noise in the playoffs. But
yeah.
AD, we saw in when he was in New Orleans, he's not the guy.
No,
no,
for sure. For
no.
sure. He's the supporting cast that's gonna give you solid in the paint
I
play.
wouldn't go as far as supporting Cavs, but he's more Pippen than Jordan.
Agreed. He
Yeah.
he can be a solid. Yeah, because Pippen, I wouldn't say is supporting cast. Pippen was
No,
a bona fide star. But he
absolutely
was he was a 1B, right?
right.
And right, and so like that. Yeah, I agree with you, Z. I see that because during that championship that they got, the bubble championship.
Hmm.
Sorry, Lakers fans.
The Mickey Mouse Championship,
The bubble championship. Uh,
LeBron's Lakers legacy.
That's right. When they got that bubble championship, I mean, he was doing his thing. I mean, you could say some nights he was the star, some nights LeBron was the star. Which maybe you really couldn't say that during Jordan's reign. Jordan was always the star, but Pippen, he was what one of the greatest or the top 50 NBA players. He was voted for that.
Yeah.
I don't think AD would be in that top 50, although I think he actually was the top 75 or something, wasn't he? Top 100.
Was he top 75? That mm,
Yeah, I don't know if I would put him there. Personally, I don't
I
think I
wouldn't
would.
have put him there.
I want to put him there. Maybe top 100. Maybe.
I don't think they've gotten to 100 yet.
Okay. Maybe top. Maybe
I
top
wouldn't put him
100.
there either.
Not in
Mm,
the top 100.
nah, he was named the top 75. Wow,
Yeah.
widely regarded as one of the greatest power forwards of all time.
Of all
Who wrote
time,
this?
really.
Who wrote this? That's what
LeBron.
I can't trust Wikipedia. I can go on there and edit somebody's
Can't trust
Wikipedia page.
Wikipedia. Anybody can write a Wikipedia page.
Bro, but I
It's like,
mean, if his career ended today, is he a Hall of Famer to you? I think the threshold for Hall of Fame in basketball is really low.
yeah,
It is because they take a lot of like I just look. He's got 3 gold medals. That'll weigh into it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think he
I don't
probably
know.
would be because I mean,
That's
I mean, do you think he's had a better career than Dwight Howard? Because Dwight Howard just made it to the Hall of Fame.
no.
Dwight Howard doesn't have
Man,
it. Does Dwight Howard have a championship? Oh, yeah, he got the championship with the Lakers, right? That was his only championship, wasn't it?
I think so.
I don't even know. I'm so stuck on him playing overseas in Taiwan or wherever it is.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I would put him there. All right.
I don't know
Well,
about that.
Zeke,
Next topic.
why don't you take us into it happened to what it happened today.
Yes,
Cool. Josh, you got that picture? Because if not, I can pull it up.
I got
Hey, say hey. Back in 1961, on this date, the great Willie Mays became the 9th player in the Major League Baseball history to hit 4 home runs in one game. Um, it did it against the Braves, but they were the Milwaukee Braves, so that don't count. um, and it's kind of interesting that this happened on this date because 4 days ago, in the year of our Lord 2025, Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks became the 19th player
it.
to hit 4 home runs in a single game. Coincidentally, also against the Braves. Um, Funny enough, they lost that game in extra innings. I actually watched that game live. I was kind of mad when they pitched to him because his 4th home run tied the game. um, with our closer on the mound, and I'm like, why are we pitching to him? Just walk him and take your chances. I know you walk the tying run and bring the winning run up to the plate, but he was the only one really doing damage against us that night, and they kept pitching to the man. I mean, I remember back in the day, you come up, you hit three. There's only 19 players in history because normally when you get the 3 home runs, you either get walked or you get hit in the back with a fastball.
That's
That's old
exactly it,
school
bro.
baseball. Like
Old
you're
school.
not gonna sit there and throw a fastball down the middle to somebody who's been hitting the ball 450 feet all night.
Hot night, a hot night.
Hey,
Gee,
the Braves won, Zeke. So I still sense the anger in your voice, man. They won, man.
Because they shouldn't have. Our winning run was scored on a wild pitch. We shouldn't have won that game.
that's wild.
Yeah,
But yeah, so shout out to Willie Mays and a shout out to Eugenio Suarez
Big
for
time.
those amazing feats.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Is uh just a shout out to what's happening early in the season in baseball. I mean that no easy victories in the AL, or excuse me, in the NL West. Those Diamondbacks legit. I mean, they made it to the World Series not so long ago, and the Padres off to a 18 win start. And that's not to mention the San Francisco Giants also 18 win start. And then you got the Dodgers in that division. It's they're like, man, and you would think that these teams would not have these kind of records beating each other up.
Shohei, Shohei.
But yeah, I mean,
You
and
can say that now because Dave's not on the broadcast.
I know.
that's right. We're allowed to talk about Shohei again. He's
Oh,
the greatest two-way player. Watch Dave start pulling out his hair when he sees this.
Right.
yeah, he's gonna be
Oh,
like, these guys are fired.
I'm gonna come on
I'm,
the
I'm I'm
podcast
never
and
leaving
fire it
again.
up. That's right.
And the crazy thing is, like you mentioned, all those like the 4 teams in the NL West, and then you got the Rockies.
Mm,
Then you got the Rockies. That's a great segue, man.
Then you got the
That's
Rockies. I mean,
then you got the
again,
Rockies.
again with me uh, uh, hating on my squad. Look, all right, look. before we jump into the Rocky situation, to see the Braves sitting at 14 and 15 right now, yeah, it's not the greatest record in the world. We started 0 and 7. Like it was like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling,
Yeah.
the world is gonna end, doom and gloom. We were a couple of base hits away today from being the first team ever to start 0 and 7 and make it back to 500. No team has ever started 0 and 7 and made it to 500. We almost did it in the
So
same month. So, I mean, I keep telling Chris, enjoy this while you can because we're only 7 games back.
Mm.
Zeke, who are you 7 games back to? Is that the Phillies?
The New York Metropolitans.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to look at the
Yeah,
standings
you're
more.
not used to being in this position. I understand. But
I'm
what you
being
got to
obnoxious.
realize is you don't get participation trophies. You don't get month to month trophies. You got to let the rest of the season play out.
That's true.
So enjoy this while you can. Um,
Listen, nobody thought that the Atlanta Braves were going to be stuck at the bottom of the pile. I mean, the
we're
NL
not
East,
at
I
the
think
bottom of the pile. We're not
well,
at the
you're
bottom
not.
of the pile.
Well, I know you're not. No one thought that. That's what I'm saying. I
And
didn't
here's
think
the
that.
thing: we had Strider back for 1 game. This dude hurt himself playing catch.
What?
He hurt his hamstring the day before he was supposed to pitch. I was so mad when I saw that. But
What?
yeah, we've had Strider for 1 game. We haven't even had Acuna back. We've been putting uh, 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 mixed match squad together in the outfield. We got Eli White and Nick Allen with key at clutch at bats. Wait till it all starts to come together. You're gonna look up at the All Star break. It's gonna be like, dang, we used to be in first place. Now it's the Braves. Zeke told me this was gonna happen. I should just call him Zeke Stradamus.
Zeke Stradamus. You really think that the Braves are going to finish first in the division
Why wouldn't I think that?
over the Mets and the Phillies, though?
Why wouldn't I think that? This
I
isn't
don't
this
think
isn't the
so.
Cowboys. This isn't the Bulls. This is the Braves.
Yeah, but
This
we
is
talked
my
on
this
a
is this
podcast
is my
earlier.
favorite team. Like of all of my favorite teams, this is my favorite team. I have full trust that at the end of the year they're gonna do me proud. We're gonna have yet another division championship streak started, and the Mets are gonna Met. The Phillies might finish in second. Um,
It's
I
a
don't
new
know.
day in New
The
York.
Mets
I'll tell
might
you
get to
that
the
much.
playoffs. I don't know.
Mm.
It's a new day in New York under Uncle Steve, man. That's all I'm going to say. But I will say this: like we talked on an earlier podcast about some of the worst franchises in history, and the Braves made that list, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I put them there. hmm
Braves made
But
that list.
I explained why. I explained why. Like I couldn't care less of what y'all think. I couldn't care less of what the chat thought. I couldn't care less of what the experts thought. In my opinion,
Mm.
in my life, because that was the question, right? In your opinion, who are the worst sports franchises? I don't pay attention enough to the other franchises to judge how good or bad they are. But the teams that have brought me the worst headaches are my teams. So yeah.
You know, it's crazy. As a Mets fan, I'm there like, man, we're off to a good start, and Soto hasn't even been hitting, and I'm there like, man, he's not hitting today either. I don't know when it's going to start. But shout out to Brandon Nimmo, 9 RBI game 2 days ago or 3 days ago now, where he hit a 3-run home run, a grand slam in the same day. Nine runs batted in, just absolutely incredible. So shout out to Brandon Nimmo. It's a feat that set or tied a New York Mets franchise record.
Dope.
Here
And
comes the
so
0 for 26 slump.
yeah, he's not he's you know what's crazy is after four he went 4 for 6, and that got him to 200 batting average, which for those who are the uninitiated, that's not good. That's not good.
You
But
know
you
what
know,
bugs me about Brandon Nemo? He runs to first base when he takes a walk.
yes,
I hate that. I don't know why that bothers me so much. It's
he's
like,
been
dude,
doing
this
that
ain't
since he
little
was a
league no
rookie,
more.
bro. Since he was a
I
rookie.
know. And it's bugged me ever since that. Like, yo, it's a walk.
Yeah.
Walk.
Yeah,
He
he
sprints down
sprints.
there like he's gonna take second
Sprints.
base.
Maybe that's just his way of staying consistent no matter what. Get to the base. That's my job.
So let's talk about. I'm not as familiar with because I know that Zeke that you're a Florida State Seminole fan. It's Travis played for the Seminoles, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, he did. Jordan Travis played for the Seminoles. It was funny. Like I was just wondering, like whatever happened to him. His last year with the Seminoles, he had a real bad leg injury. He actually finished fifth in the Heisman that year, I believe. Um, he's one of our better quarterbacks that we've had in recent history, and it's just a shame to see that. Um, I mean, it goes to show how fleeting a football career can be. Um, that's why, like, I applaud these guys for being able to maximize on NIL as much as possible because you make all this money for these colleges, and my man he was never able to take an NFL snap. He got drafted in the fifth round, but his injury kept him from even stepping on the field. So and he wasn't just a flash in the pan quarterback. He was a good quarterback for us. He was definitely an NFL caliber quarterback, but um, injuries, man. That one injury took him out, and he fought hard to get back, and um, he's making the wise move, and like, yo, this just isn't it. So
My life. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
He's
unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but he's still a young man. I think he's like 23, 24 years old, so he's still got plenty of life ahead of him, and I applaud him for realizing that there's more to life than just football. Um, he's a smart kid. I'm pretty sure if he didn't get his degree, he was close to getting his degree. So I'm hoping he has a successful career in whatever he chooses to do. It sucks that football didn't pan out for him, but um, yeah, just as I hope like somebody can take this as a cautionary tale. Like you don't gotta be like that one guy who's asking for like a Bugatti and whatever else.
yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
What
The
was that? Tennessee,
Hawaiian
right?
dude. Yeah. The Hawaiian dude.
Yeah, asking for a Bugatti and millions of dollars, like that's just dumb. Like you're gonna get ignored like that, dude. But I mean, if you can
Gosh.
maximize on NIL with some reasonable, you ain't even gotta get paid by the colleges. Like I'm seeing college players in commercials now. Like maximize on the sponsorships because if you're a big name and you got millions of dollars lined up for you, that could all disappear with one bad play. So be wise with your money, whatever you can make, and take college seriously. 'Cause, yeah,
Yep.
sports is it's a nice dream to have, but um, it's nice to have that degree in your back pocket
Big time.
as long as you pick the right major.
Yeah,
Some of
it's
these
funny.
some of these degrees are just pieces of paper that
The only thing I
aren't
really
hanging on the
remember about
refrigerator.
Travis is the fact that he almost got Florida State to the College Bowls, the Final Four, if you will, in college football.
Yeah,
And although I don't think it's the Final Four anymore, they bring in the top six now, right?
I think they start with six now. Yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah. And so like that they almost made it, but when he got that injured, the committee decided not to vote them on,
yeah, that
and
was
that
crazy.
became
We were
very
undefeated.
controversial.
We were
Right.
undefeated, and they were like,
Undefeated.
"Yeah, but
He's
you
not.
don't
Our
have your
quarterback.
quarterback, so nah."
Quarterback.
I think that
So
was the year they found a reason to get Alabama in there.
right. And it turned out to be, as unfair as it was, it turned out to be the right decision because the Florida
Ah, boo.
absolutely got rolled in their bowl game. But that's all I remember about Travis. But
Well,
shout
I
out to him.
mean, here's the thing though. Like with a lot of these bowl games now, like if you're not playing in the big bowl games, a lot of players just don't care. Like it used to be a big thing to like make it to a bowl game. Like you wanted to get that sixth or seventh win to make a bowl game. Now
Hmm.
teams are like, wait, you want me to go play in the Bumblebee Tuna Bowl? Nah, I'm gonna go get ready for the draft. Like they don't even care about these bowls anymore. If it's not the college football playoffs, they don't care.
Yeah. It's all for fun at that point, and they don't want that.
Absolutely. Hey, before we take off, fellas, give me your prediction for tonight's game between the Lakers and Timberwolves that should be tipping off here in a little bit.
I already told you, Adam Silver got the call in there, so Lakers gonna win this game.
What about you, Josh?
I'm rooting for the Timberwolves all day.
I'm rooting for the Timberwolves, but I would not be surprised if the Lakers won this game.
I'm gonna
Bro,
take Ant Man.
I'm gonna close this out with a Shannon Sharpism. Lakers in five. They
Bruh.
losing in five.
Oh, they losing in five. Okay.
Losing in five.
Losing in
It's
5.
amazing how it's crazy how the week Shannon gets in trouble and he not on TV hyping them up no more. All of a sudden they about to get bounced out of the playoffs. Like, what's he gonna talk about when he comes back on air? Goat James ain't gonna be around no more.
Man,
Oh,
that's if he gets back on air.
He'll be back somewhere.
man, we got to devote some time to that. Although I feel bad for Uncle Shay, but yeah, those little predictions that he got, we're gonna see.
Yeah,
I got a feeling they're gonna get bounced tonight. Although I think we're gonna see a fired up Lakers squad, but we'll see if they got the guns to pull it out. But we'll see.
big time. Hey, listen, we'd be remiss if we don't talk about opposition radio real quick. Dave might really fire us if we don't. But Zeke, give them the take on Ops Radio.
What? You want me to do it?
Yeah.
I normally spend this segment making fun of Dave. I really don't listen to what he be saying.
All right. Well, here I'll take it.
Yeah,
Opposition
you do it.
opposition radio. So Dave always raves, even though that's not the major point. He is a part owner of Opposition Radio. Um, the guys got a group together there, and they're playing Christian hip hop, EDM, R&B, reggae, Latin pop. They got all the live tunes. It's a good radio station to just jam to. You know, wherever you are, you can pull it up on your phone, pull it up in a web browser. It's all web based, and they're just good dudes, and they really want to bring good music back to mainstream, good Christian music back to mainstream. So you got to check them out over at the opsradio.live. You can go on any browser and listen to them anywhere. So again, shout out to Opposition Radio, good dudes over there.
For sure, for sure. Well, fellas, it's been a lot of fun tonight. Thank you everybody out there for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. But thanks for tuning in to the Opps SportsCast. We will see you guys here next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Check us out.
Big time.
Peace.
Hit the button, Josh.
I
Play my music.
Play my funky theme music.